My idea for the future is to include a QR code in articles about sport, for example an interview of a player after a game. The QR code will be there so that readers can scan it and it will take them to the website or link with a video of the interview that is talked about in the article. Having QR codes will give fans an extra source of information and interaction between multiple sources of media for their team or sport. A positive of this idea is that it will increase participation levels and increase the interest in football. A negative of this idea is that not all readers of the newspaper will have access to a QR code reader, for example the elderly community. Another idea is to televise women's football by providing a weekly show of highlights of the top 2 divisions of women's football in the UK. Also, when there is a lack of top games in the male league or when there is an international break in the male calendar, televise a women's game instead. Also, have more female presenters on both male and female matches. A positive of this is that there will be an increase in participation in women's football at all ages. A negative of this idea is that other sports will lose out on being televised. My final idea for media to help sport in the future is for Twitter and Facebook to set up individual pages that are specifically there to provide information and details on scores of matches and fixtures. A positive of having these pages on social media will increase the viewing numbers of sports and increase participation levels also. A negative of having these pages is that people may only look at the pages and not watch the full game on television, which would reduce income for TV providers. An idea for the future is to have an underwater camera in swimming for watching competitions and for when athletes are training. Positives of having this camera will allow viewers to get an extra insight to how they are swimming so fast, and it will give coaches and the athletes the ability to evaluate their performances in high detail. Negatives of this are that it will be expensive to produce and run, and not all clubs or television broadcasters will be able to afford it, therefore it will only be used in clubs with a large sponsor or government funding. This idea is to have another official watching the game from their own individual box or van outside the stadium. This official will be the referee's extra eyes on controversial decisions and relay the correct call through the referee's earpiece, for example, penalty decisions and goal decisions. An advantage of this is that the decisions will be made with more accuracy, so there will be a reduced amount of controversy, for example whether it was a penalty or not. A drawback with this idea is that it may slow the speed of the game down because of the time needed to evaluate the slow motion replays to provide the referee with a call. My final idea for technology is to place trackers on players to provide viewers with live statistics of how they are performing, for example, distance covered, shots taken, shots on target, passing percentage and others. An advantage of having this is that it will allow viewers to interact with the game and feel even closer than they do watching it on TV. A disadvantage of this is that it will take a lot of people to constantly keep the statistics up to date throughout the game.